All right, ladies and gentlemen, the recording is in progress. So we got to be careful now with what we are saying and talking about. And we is today it is Jennifer and Matt Davidson on the
Hi.
other side of the screen. And we do that via Zoom because I'm not in Rayford and they're not in Deland. So we do it this way, even though soon we will probably meet. And Jen, Matt, this is so overdue. I think we have never done this actually, right? I
I
mean,
think we did one a while back, but I think it was a couple years ago now. Yeah.
okay, in Rayford.
It was via Zoom as well.
Was it? Oh,
Yeah.
I have to look this up.
Yeah, I think I saw the memories, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or so.
6 months ago, from here on backwards.
I think so. It popped up at some point, during the last year, like the memories of it. Yeah, the picture or something from the postings on Facebook.
I have to look. I mean, I know there were stories, and I will never, not forget the pictures of you two together doing push-ups.
I
So that was probably a part of that.
think so, yeah.
Are you still doing that? Are you still in shape enough to do that?
Oh yeah, we haven't been doing a whole lot of that. I've been having some shoulder issues, I guess, that kind of come along with age and repetition with the sport. But we're both, stay physically fit.
Do our
But
best.
Yeah.
yeah, but your shoulders are okay, not like the hip where you need a new shoulder someday. Or
No, it's like the beginning stages of, maybe some arthritis or something going on in there. But what I'm finding now at, getting a bit older is that I'm having to pay a lot more attention to rest these days. So, usually I go, 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 and I feel bad if I take a day off of working out, but now I'm having to resist that and actually just take some downtime, and focus more on mobility and those kind of things so that I can stay loose for, skydiving when we're doing our training camp so I can stay focused on that.
rest and stretching and all those kind of things, right? Stuff that we don't take so serious when we are when we're in our 20s, let's say. Or
Right.
well, let me begin quickly with you, Matt, because I know that you were jumping today, right?
Yep. Yeah, we sure were.
With GKXP8, and you made 10 jumps, a competition draw all the way through, right? And
We today we finished a competition draw or a random set that we did, but we only made 6 jumps. John had some contract work that he had to do, so we just had a short window that we were able to make some jumps. But so we're doing really well, considering so we're excited about the nationals and the world meet this year.
yes, you have my spies everywhere. I know what's going on. And you, Jen, did you train today too with
Nope.
XPG4?
Because Gina Billings is on both teams, pretty much
Oh,
only
yeah,
one
of
team
course.
can train at a time. So when Matt's team's not training, my team is training, and then vice versa. So we really have to capitalize on time off together because we don't get too much of it these days.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? On one hand, you are spending I mean, the most important things together, and on the other hand, you struggle to find time probably not together. Somehow it's
Yeah, definitely not as much as when we were on the team together. Then we spent all of our time together. So this is kind of the other side of that coin.
but that's a different story when you spend all the time together, right? You are teammates and
Yeah.
you're not, I mean, you are married, right? You're a married couple now, so being teammates and those are two different things, I would guess, right? I've never done it, so only how that works. I don't know if anybody, there are not too many married couples really doing the same thing. Well, now we're getting into the history of it already. You never really, you did jump together and train together, but not really that much, because there were also the separate times all the time in
Yeah,
different.
we were on the Golden Knight 8-way team together from starting in 17 through whenever you retired.
17 through 18. I retired in June of 19, but yeah.
Yeah, so we even though before that, from 11 through 16, we weren't training on the same team, but we were training all the same days at the same location and everything. So we were able to like carpool to work together, stuff like that. So even though we weren't on the same team, we still got to spend quite a bit of time together. And then being on the same team, we spent all of our time together. And now it's kind of to where our training is split. It's at the same location, but we're not there at the same time. And so we have kind of different training schedules now.
Yeah, when Jen got back from flight school, we actually get a taste of what the old times were like again when Jen was able to fill in for us on the 8-way right when she got back.
Yeah, so there are actually three different scenarios, right? And you can, I mean, one is you spend private time together, living life, then you're training in the same team as teammates, and then you're training at the same time, but in different teams. Are those all, I mean, do you feel, or could you define the differences between those three scenarios? Is that possible at all?
We might have some different perspectives on that, but I don't think there's much of a change. I think how we operate at home is pretty much how we operate in a team environment. You know, we conduct ourselves professionally and, you know, we're pretty easygoing. So, you know, there's not a whole lot of conflict. And if we do have some kind of, you know, issue that needs addressed, we're usually pretty calm and laid back as to how we address that and how we, you know, work through those types of problems.
Yeah, I definitely prefer having being on the same team, or at least having the same schedule, because it seems like now somebody always has to get up early in the morning to go to training, and when the other person doesn't, and then it switches. So I like having it, so it affects kind of the time that we get to spend together, even when we do have that time off. So I prefer it to have at least the same schedule, but it's not an issue. It's just what kind of our training schedules look like right now. So it just means that we have to be a lot more purposeful about the time that we spend together and stuff.
So the logistics are actually really easier when you are on the same teams, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're both saying. Yeah. That wasn't really that often, because the only time, as you mentioned, that I recall is 17, 18, right, in the 8-way team.
Yeah, while she was on the competition section on the nights, we were able to drive to work together and be on the same plane loads, and
Yeah.
you know, it was often like that.
Yeah, so we all it would be the same early mornings. We would have the same schedule, even if we're not on the same team. But now we have completely opposite schedules. So it's a little tricky. We just have to plan ahead a little bit better for stuff when we have opposite schedules.
You had some 4-way time together. There was a time when the Golden Knights didn't really do 4-way any longer. It was going back and forth. Nobody really knows, is it 4-way, is it 8-way? But that's when you also competed a few times together in 4-way, right? There was like
when I was on the 8-way team, 8-way was the main focus of the team, but there was, the team would split into two and do 2 4-way teams. And so we were on the same 4-way team together. We didn't have that much training together as a 4-way team, because most of the focus was on 8-way, but we did get to compete together in 4-way, even if it was mostly just for competition.
And you have been basically together even when you were not on the same teams. When Matt was doing 8-way, you were doing 4-way. You were on all world championships between 2014 and 18, or 12.
12 was my first one.
So that was in 2012, 14, 16, 18. You went to the same world championships. But as far as I recall, I don't know, but you were not a couple from the get-go. That happened sometime.
We got together, was it 11? We got together in 2011 and married in 2013.
13, okay. So that was just a transition when you were, going to the same world meet. So the two teams were formed in 2011, basically. Golden Knights women team And
Yep. Our
and the
first
eight
year was 2011.
and BK had started the new 8-way lineup in 2009 or whatever, so 10.
Yeah, we started it back in 2009.
Mhm. And so that was also more or less the time when you began to like each other, kind of more than just Golden Knights. So
Once the women's team was put together, we were working in the same location. So the two teams were spending a lot of time together with training and everything like that. So it was really the first time that we had ever spent any time together.
and then first Matt kind of disappeared for a little while because of your hip things that you had to take care of. And then afterwards, Jen disappeared kind of for a little while, and you basically just had your comeback there, Jen. So I don't know where to begin. I mean, Matt, I think we have covered comprehensively with the hip troubles and how you joined or switched from Golden Knights to XP8 and GKXP8 and so forth. But Jennifer, we know nothing about you. I mean, I know you're flying, and I know that you went to fly. So, how were the last like 2, 3 years? Is it that long or longer?
So I moved to Alabama for 14 months to go to Army flight school. So I took and I didn't jump while I was in flight school. So I think I had like one jump in maybe 22 months. So I pretty much took almost 2 years off from jumping. So I definitely was out of the scene. Like I didn't have the bandwidth really to like pay attention to competitions or anything because I was very inundated with information, trying to learn everything I could about all the flying stuff
That's
by
a lot.
necessity. Yeah, they always say like going to that school is like learning through a fire hose, and it definitely was. So I just kind of had to put that aside a little bit and learn to fly helicopters. And so I graduated in March and moved back. So I moved back about mid-March and then immediately started training with the XPG4. And then I did some training with Matt's team, filling in for one of the guys there. So I got right back to it. Feels like I never left.
So you lived in Alabama too?
Yeah, yep. I moved down there for 14 months.
That's a pretty long time away from home, I guess.
Yeah,
Did you have
yeah,
did you have your place in Rayford already by then, or did you get this after when you came back?
Nope, we bought this house at the end of 2019,
Yeah.
I think. So we had been living, and had a house in Rayford since I moved here in 2009. So we were in that house for a few years and then moved here in 2019. And then when I moved down to Alabama, Matt stayed here and lived here so we lived in different houses for that time that I was in school. And then I moved back into this place.
It sounds like when you were coming back and straight into XPG4 world, the way you just said that sounds like you had been really missing being involved in 4-way, 8-way competition training, whatever. Was it like this, or were you kind of happy? Oh, I'm glad I'm getting a break, or how?
Oh, so when I was down in Alabama, like around here, you're absolutely surrounded by it. You can't like throw a stick without hitting a world champion. And, everybody seems like everybody's training and everybody's going to these competitions or that competition. So it would have been a lot harder to step back from it had I been here in North Carolina. But down in Alabama, that's not the case. Like you're not surrounded by it and you don't see it every time you look out the window. But so it was kind of okay to take a break. I think I had a little bit of burnout and some of the stuff that had led up to me going to flight school. You know, it was good to kind of step away from that and to kind of refresh that that motivation and that desire and that drive. So when I came back, like I felt very refreshed and like ready to attack training and to get back to it.
Okay. Well, so it was still there. It was just like the flame was on burning on a little lower or behind the back or whatever.
Yeah,
Did
and
you,
I was definitely not just sitting on my butt either. I was very, very busy, which was helpful. I didn't like have time to really oh, I wish I could be out. Like I was just busy and I was doing something that I really enjoyed and it was really fun to learn. And it was stressful trying to learn all that stuff on the timeline that is given to you. But it was, yeah, once coming back though, now kind of integrating that into my life, like I really enjoy the situation that I have going on right now. So
did you always want to be a pilot?
I think that it was skydiving's aviation adjacent, so we're not all pilots, but we all have the exposure to it and we all have some kind of I think there's a lot of crossover of people that are skydivers and people that want to be pilots. So I do remember thinking, I've been to a lot of air shows with the Golden Knights. My first 2 years were on the demo team. And I remember seeing a heliobatics show and thinking like, oh man, I need to learn to fly helicopters like yesterday. Like I do remember thinking that. That would have been back in 2009 or 10. Just thinking that they were really cool. So, but it was something that, so I was amenable to it and like thought it would be cool, but I really, really liked the situation that I had on the Golden Knights. And so it was like, well, I would like to do that, but I've already got this really cool gig going on here. So, so having the opportunity to go and pursue that was awesome. And it was very timely. I did have to get an age waiver to go to flight school, but I wasn't too old to get one. Although I would be too old to get one now, probably. So it was very timely that I was able to manage that as well.
So you're flying helicopters now for the U.S. Army or for the Air Force or
For the U.S. Army.
for the U.S. Army. So you are actually still U.S. Army, Golden Knights, not Golden Knights, but U.S. Army, I guess.
Yes, I'm a reservist now, so I do the whole 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer, and then as an Army pilot, we have to maintain a certain amount of hours. So I go into my unit once a week or so to fly to kind of the upkeep. And right now I'm working on getting through progression, which will, by the time I get through progression, I'll be signed off to do any type of like all the missions that my unit does. But so right now, I went in to fly last night and, it's just working on continuing training, stuff like that. So I do that. It's kind of as a reservist, they understand everybody has a life outside of the Army. So everybody is able to put in their availability and then they put you on the calendar based on that. So I can, it's nice because I have my training set with my teams and then I can set up my training to be on times, my flight training to be on times when I'm not training with the skydiving team.
So I can get now, or we, the audience, can get some insights now of the current XPG4 situation, right?
Sure.
How much are you training? And is it all outdoors now, or are you still going to the tunnel?
Yeah, we right now we're mostly focused on outdoor. So when we first got back, we did a lot of indoor stuff. We were training for the Indoor World Cup. And now that that's over, we're pretty much doing all outdoor. And then if weather, there's lots of weather and stuff like that. So the tunnel is always a backup. So it's nice to have that in our backyard pretty much, so that we have that as an option if jumping is not possible. But we're pretty much just looking to do outdoor if we can. And then if we are in the tunnel, we're more likely to be like tunnel rigs and stuff like that. So, and we're training, seems like quite a bit. Obviously, we have to split all the time between 8-way and 4-way, with having a shared teammate, with Gina. But, other than that, like I'd say we're doing between the two teams, like we're pretty much training, up through the world meet.
So you're probably the busier team, GK, XP8. I mean, is there any do you see, and you're competing with yourselves basically, Matt?
I think so. We don't like to, write anyone off. There are some other teams out there that have the potential. The French always put together a good lineup, and Qatar. Yeah, and right now we're doing great, and I think a lot of that has to do with the experience that we have collectively on the team. Things are trending in the right direction for sure.
Isn't it easy to become complacent when you're in a situation like this? How do you keep yourself alive, competitive, spirited, eager, ambitious? How do you do that?
Well, surprisingly not. It doesn't seem like any of us are getting too complacent. I think because of the culture on the team and because of the experience we have, and the people that are on the team are so driven that I don't think any one of us wants to let the other down by having a subpar performance, not putting our all into it. So I think that continues to just drive things upward and onward because of that.
How is the situation with XPG4? I mean, you're a competitive team. You want to running out of time. See, I cannot believe we're getting our message here already. Jeez, did we really just talk already for like 30 minutes or more than that? No,
Wow.
I cannot believe it. All right, well, we still have 10 minutes or a little less than that, so we can use them up before they do this brutally. That lady there on Zoom, I don't know her name and who she is, but she is brutal. No mercy. It's 40 minutes.
That AI, she's on the timeline.
I know it's AI. I'm just making fun of myself. No, I'm not a technology guy anyway, but I survive in the technological world at least. So now I know we have that. But so XPG4 situation doesn't seem to be that much different. I mean, you've seen it all, Jen, anyway. XPG4, they have been at the events, and there doesn't seem to be much competition in 4-way women as well, unless there is a team from China coming possibly, right? Do you talk about that?
Yeah. So that's I think it's kind of the same as we don't really know. China had a very strong performance at the Indoor World Cup. And nobody's seen what they can do. They've been together for a long time, and you can never discount teams like that, certainly. So I would say that they are a real threat at the World Meet. And then you never know like what Great Britain's going to put together, and France. And so right now we're trying to just find who we are as a team. We've only done a couple of jump camps, and we've had some weather, stuff like that. So we're still kind of finding our rhythm there. And then just we're right now we're not really, our training is finding out who we are and being the best team that we can be by the time the World Meet is there. And I think that's kind of how you go into your training, and you're just trying to be the best that you can be. And then when you get to competition, you haven't left anything on the table.
And it is brand new. Everything is brand new, because not only that you have never been, in the XPG4 lineup, but the slot, there was a slot scramble too, right? It was not just you going back to your point slot that you used to have, right? You were point for the Golden Knights.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I think there was Michelle had been point before I went back, but she's not new to inside center, so it's that's kind of going back home. And so we tried out a couple different iterations, and I don't think that we had to be stuck in if I had gone to inside center, I think that would have been fine. But I think we just have I love flying point. That's a fun slot for me. And so, and I think Michelle enjoys being inside. So it wasn't that we could not have gone to other slots, but just this way we're all in places that we enjoy. And but I think it could have been fine in any variation that we came up with. So
Are you ever talking yet about the time after the World Championship? You know, like Arizona SB, they you know, it's pretty obvious now. I mean, it's public knowledge that Nicholas and Mikhail will not continue. So the whole world knows, you know, there will be a change. XPG4, GK, XP, I would guess you're not talking, I mean, maybe somebody is thinking about it, but nobody is talking about anything like this at the moment, probably, or am I guessing wrong? You know already what you're gonna do after the World Meet in North Carolina.
we haven't really discussed what is going to be. I think the XPG4 is committed only through the World Meet, so we're not really sure what's going to happen after that. I personally I'm trying to work something out that I will be able to go back and work with the Golden Knights. So if I can manage get that figured out, like I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like, whether that's going to be building going to the open team or building a new GK internal women's team, or being a part of a similar type of team of what I'm on now as a Golden Knight. I'm not really sure what that's going to look like. But there may be some constraints for me as far as that's concerned. But as for right now, we're just focused on the World Meet.
Well, but that's great anyway, because, you know, the Golden Knights, they still have plans, you know, from what I hear, there's, you know, whether it's going to be an 8-way team again or 4-way becoming world champions, you know, there's eagerness and there are plans in, you know, kind of directions, you know. I don't know the details and I don't want to spread rumors or whatever, but the Golden Knights have plans for the near future, 4-way, 8-way, maybe both, right? And
yeah, it definitely could be. You know, everybody likes to, you like to plan big, and then you kind of see where the cards fall when you know what you can kind of talk people into and stuff like that. And so I'm sure as every World Meet, as after every World Meet, there's always a big shuffle. So I'm sure that will be the case this year as well. So we'll see kind of where everything falls there. It should be exciting to see. I think there's some great potential. There's some phenomenal flyers both sides of the fence there, and so it'll be really interesting to see where. And I think on the world scale, like a lot of the big teams are, you know, they're in rebuilds and new teammates. So it should be really exciting the next couple of years, as always. So it's fun to see.
As always, exactly, yeah. And even at the Golden Knights, there is or the US Army, there is a more supportive management now, as far as I understand. So that is probably supporting, you know, the plans, which that's good for you. And there will always be a slot, no matter what, 4-way for Jennifer Davidson, right?
I hope so.
Yeah. Colonel Andy Moffat on the Golden Knights has been, you know, he's fostered a culture of very progressive thinking, and he's been very supportive of the competition section and just the whole team. And it seems like, you know, from my outside perspective, that they have a really good thing going on right now, and it's really exciting to see.
Yeah.
As an alumni, also they've got some great recruiting, you know, opportunities now. They've changed some things. Maybe Jen can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, they've developed a street to seat program. So people that are interested in going that route, they can instead of joining the Army and then hoping that you get put into a position that you can go through tryouts. With the street to seat program, you can join the Army and have pinpoint orders to go to the Golden Knights to be able, so you know for sure that you'll get a shot at going through tryouts, which you still need to go through tryouts after you get done with all that training, but you're guaranteed the opportunity, which is takes away some of the risk that people had to go through before, as far as what life would look like once they got into the military. So that's a really great opportunity that is available for people that want to take that route.
That's a shortcut, you call that, right? So that's, I mean, a potential shortcut. And there are people, so, Hayabusa has better options, to recruit because it's a very small community. And we have people here who had wished it was there, like Ron Hill long ago, and others that who, now they couldn't because that wasn't available by then. So thanks for that update. Interesting.
Mhm.
And I'm looking at the clock all the time here. We are within the last minute here, and I hate it, but I think that's enough probably anyway. I don't want to hold you up for that much longer. And I don't know, I know that people are hanging on your lips for information or news, but they don't want to see me any longer.
I'll have to use that one sometime. That's good.
Yeah, we have to stop it now. I'm sorry to be so curt, but I have to do it. So thank you very much, Jen, Matt, for taking the time. And I guess we see each other probably at the Summer Classic anyway. I'm hoping. Are you
Okay.
both competing
Definitely.
there? Is that the plan?
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
We
we're
are.
doing 8-way. I don't think we are at this point, just because I don't think any other teams will really be there, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But I'll be there in some capacity. So I'll see you.
Okay. We're talking about seconds now, so at least let's say goodbye to each other.
All right, it's good
For
to
me,
see you.
thank you very much for taking the time. And
Thank
good
you.
luck with everything, and see you soon.
All right. Thanks.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.